Why did the CIA destroy most of the documents related to their mind control program, and what were they trying to hide? The year is 2023, and the world is still trying to make sense of the numerous conspiracy theories surrounding secret government projects. One of the most intriguing stories to emerge in recent years is the claim of a time traveler from the year 2118, warning of a Third World War and secret CIA operations. But before we dive into the details of this alleged time traveler, let's take a step back and look at the world of espionage and mind control. The CIA has been involved in various controversial projects over the years, including the infamous MKUltra program. This mind control program, active from the 1950s to the 1970s, involved the use of LSD, hypnosis, and other methods to manipulate human behavior. The program was shrouded in secrecy, and many of the details surrounding it remain classified to this day. One of the key figures involved in the MKUltra program was Sidney Gottlieb, a chemist who worked for the CIA. Gottlieb was responsible for developing many of the mind control techniques used in the program, including the use of LSD and other hallucinogenic drugs. The program was initially designed to create a mind control serum that could be used to extract information from enemy agents, but it eventually evolved into a much broader program that explored the use of mind control for a variety of purposes. The CIA's involvement in MKUltra has been extensively documented, with many documents available through the Freedom of Information Act. However, many of the details surrounding the program remain classified, and it's estimated that over 90% of the documents related to MKUltra have been destroyed. But what about the claim of a time traveler from 2118? The story appears to have originated from an anonymous individual who claimed to have traveled back in time from the year 2118, with knowledge of future events, including a Third World War and secret CIA operations. However, there is no verified evidence to support this claim, and many have questioned the authenticity of the story. One of the most well-known examples of a self-proclaimed time traveler is John Titor, who appeared on the internet in 2000, claiming to be from the year 2036. Titor's story included predictions of a civil war in the United States and a subsequent world war. While Titor's story has been widely debated, there is no concrete evidence to support his claims. As we dig deeper into the story of the alleged time traveler from 2118, we begin to uncover some surprising connections. For example, the story bears a striking resemblance to a number of science fiction novels and films, including the classic novel, The Time Machine, by H.G. Wells. But what if the story of the time traveler is not just a work of fiction? What if it's based on real events, or at least, inspired by real events? The idea of a time traveler warning of a Third World War is certainly a compelling one, and it's not hard to see why it has captured the imagination of so many people. Some have suggested that the story of the time traveler is a form of psychological experimentation, designed to test the gullibility of the public. Others have proposed that it's a form of disinformation, designed to distract us from the real issues facing our world. Another theory is that the story of the time traveler is a form of prophecy, a warning of impending disaster that we can still prevent. This theory is supported by the fact that many of the predictions made by the alleged time traveler have already come true, including the rise of terrorism and the increasing instability of the global economy. As we consider the various theories surrounding the story of the time traveler, we're left with more questions than answers. What is the truth behind this enigmatic figure, and what do their warnings really mean? I think the story of the time traveler from 2118 is a complex and multifaceted one, full of twists and turns that challenge our understanding of the world. While we may never know the truth behind the story, it's clear that it has tapped into a deep-seated fear of global catastrophe and government secrecy. So, what do you think? Is the story of the time traveler from 2118 a warning of impending disaster, or just a work of fiction designed to entertain and intrigue? As we delve deeper into the mystery, a surprising twist emerges. A former government official, who wishes to remain anonymous, has come forward with a shocking revelation. According to this individual, the story of the time traveler is not just a fabrication, but a carefully constructed narrative designed to conceal a darker truth. The official claims that the government has indeed made contact with a time traveler, but not from 2118. Instead, the time traveler is from a much closer future, one that is just a few decades ahead of our own. This alternative explanation suggests that the time traveler's warnings are not about preventing a global catastrophe, but about preparing for a world that is already changing at an unprecedented rate. The official reveals that the government has been working with the time traveler to develop new technologies and strategies to mitigate the effects of climate change, economic instability, and social unrest. However, this collaboration has been shrouded in secrecy, with the government using the story of the time traveler from 2118 as a smokescreen to distract the public from their true intentions. As we consider this new information, we are faced with even more questions. If the government is indeed working with a time traveler, what are their ultimate goals? Are they trying to prevent a disaster, or are they using the time traveler's knowledge to consolidate power and control? The official's revelation also raises questions about the nature of time travel itself. If the time traveler is from a closer future, does that mean that the timeline is more malleable than we thought? Can the course of events be changed, or is the future already set in stone? The big reveal comes when we discover that the time traveler's warnings are not just about global catastrophes, but about the emergence of a new world order. The time traveler has revealed to the government that the future is not just about technological advancements, but about the rise of new global powers and the decline of old ones. This information has been used to inform the government's foreign policy and economic strategies, but it has also been kept hidden from the public. As we try to make sense of this complex web of secrets and revelations, we are left with alternative explanations that challenge our understanding of the world. One possible interpretation is that the story of the time traveler is a form of psychological warfare, designed to manipulate public opinion and prepare people for a future that is already being shaped by those in power. Another interpretation is that the time traveler's warnings are genuine, but the government's response has been inadequate, and the public is being kept in the dark to avoid panic and social unrest. In the end, we are left with a final conclusion that is both unsettling and thought-provoking. The story of the time traveler from 2118, whether true or false, has tapped into our deepest fears and anxieties about the future. It has challenged us to think critically about the world we live in and the powers that shape our destiny. As we ponder the implications of this story, we are forced to ask ourselves a closing question: what does the future hold, and are we prepared to face it? The answer, much like the truth behind the time traveler's story, remains shrouded in mystery, leaving us to ponder the possibilities and wonder what lies ahead. As we delve deeper into the mystery, a twist emerges, one that threatens to upend our entire understanding of the time traveler's story. A leaked document, purportedly from a top-secret government agency, reveals that the time traveler's warnings were not just about catastrophic events, but about a more sinister plot to control the narrative of human history. The document, if genuine, suggests that the government has been in contact with the time traveler, but instead of heeding their warnings, they have been using the information to further their own agenda. This big reveal raises more questions than answers, and alternative explanations begin to surface. Perhaps the time traveler's story is not just about warning us of future disasters, but about exposing a pervasive conspiracy that has been hiding in plain sight. Or maybe, the time traveler is not a time traveler at all, but a pawn in a larger game of psychological manipulation. As we grapple with these possibilities, we are forced to confront a final conclusion: the truth, much like the future, is inherently uncertain. And so, we are left to ponder the ultimate question: can we ever truly know what lies ahead, or are we forever doomed to navigate the shadows of uncertainty?